What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Lean and Mean Academy. I'm Aaron, where we talk about one truck, big profits. Y'all know the deal. Today, I got a very special guest, one of my buddies out in Oklahoma City, who is out there killing it in the pressure washing game. Mr. Gary Trent, what is going on, man?
What's up, man? Just finally got a day off today just to go do some estimates and things like that. But yeah, the weather was like, I think 75 today. So it was great. It's been like over 100 for the last month.
Dude, y'all send it over here, bro. I've been sweating. I've been trying to work out on the porch, man, and I'm just dying. My phone, I was doing a live today, and my phone was literally overheated twice. Right. And I was like, man, it's time I had to go set it on the AC vent. So I feel you there, man.
So cool.
So y'all are doing good out there. How long have you been pressure washing? I don't think I've ever sorted that out with you.
I started last year in April. I started a year ago in April. I lost a really high paying job. I had a guy mention to me like 2 years before, "Hey Gary, let's get into the power washing business. I'll be the money, you be the money behind it. I'll do all the work." And I was like, man, I don't have time for any of this stuff. So last year when like COVID hit and all this, I lost my job, and I was like, well, let me go out and buy a 4-gallon a minute little surface cleaner. Got some yard signs. That's all I did. Put yard signs all over the city. People would call and say, Oklahoma's a tough market because it's just dirty. It's not moldy. You see a little bit of mold here, but it's just all dirt. So people would call and say, hey, do people really get their houses washed? I'm like, well, I mean, I get my house washed. I paid like $200,000 for my house. What'd you pay for your house? Wouldn't you want to see it clean all the time? And they're like, oh, okay. And, went there and upsold the windows, the driveway, tried to make the ticket big. But back then I was doing anything for anything. I just wanted the experience. I mean, I'll never forget my first house to ever wash, vinyl house, 20 miles down the road. I'm spraying, downstream in the bleach. And I walk to the side of the house and I'm thinking, oh, fuck, I need to get in my truck and leave because I don't know what I'm doing. I walked back around to the house that I sprayed, and all the mold was gone. I was like, oh my God, this is magic. So, from right there, just satisfaction, kind of thing. And then I actually applied for one of the EIDL grants, from the CARES Act, and I got $6,000. And I went and bought a 8-gallon a minute hot water machine. I got it for $6,200. I had to go to Houston to get it. Got a big guy surface cleaner, and from there, man, I've just been killing it. The winter was kind of rough, but I'm gonna tell you something. Now that I've gotten established with Footbridge and done the things that they've told me to do, just the little things, dude, I'm making more revenue than I was making in my old profession.
That's amazing, man. That is incredible. So you just we've never talked before, so I could tell that you're a really sharp guy. I didn't know your history, but you seem like a real resourceful guy who's willing to take the right steps. And, if somebody says, hey, man, I've been to this level, this is what you need to do, you just do it. Like, you don't ask questions. You're just like, all right, do that. And that's one thing that I can say is a very rare trait, because our coaches back in high school, they always called it being coachable. That's what they called it. And I really didn't understand what that mean, but I knew that I wasn't the fastest guy or the strongest guy. So I apparently had this coachability because just by default, because if you're not fast and you're not tall and you're not strong, you just have to be coachable.
Absolutely.
And that's so that's really cool to see that you just implemented step by step by step, and obviously you're killing it now, man. Like, bro, I'm going to show a screen share here in a bit, but tell me a little bit about what you've been doing with Footbridge, and when did you get with them?
So I got with a cheaper website in the beginning called Webbit, and it's like $50 a month, but you pay for what you get. And I can tell you, I had probably 10 other website companies reach out to me, and they wanted like $500 a month for like the website or the SEO, and just to do your ads, another $700 plus $1,000 in Google and all this stuff, and I actually reached out to Footbridge, I think back in October.
Okay.
I'm in the wintertime. It's cold here in Oklahoma. You're not making any money, but I knew I needed to get that started for this year. And I had purchased your program. I didn't think I really needed the program, but I purchased the program. It's $200, but it saved me $75 a month. So it paid for itself within 3 months,
Right.
kind of thing. And I've watched some of the videos and things like that, but I think I had pretty much everything down. I wanted to learn the Facebook ads. Hey, Aiden, put that up. But that's my boy.
Hey, I know, I got one.
That's all good. But I got with them in October, and I think I was already ranking because I was doing a lot of stuff in my Google My Business. So I posted a picture every single day. I did post like once a week, every 2 weeks of, free window cleaning with house wash or free driveway cleaning with house wash. But I was always posting pictures every single day in my Google My Business, and I was putting the location of the place as well. So if you look at my pictures, I'll have Edmond, Oklahoma, Norman, Oklahoma, or, Northeast Oklahoma City, things like that in the Google My Business. So earlier this year, I wasn't actually utilizing this with Footbridge. I had another company out of Austin, Texas call me, and they said, hey, we can do these project things on your website, and what it'll do is it'll help you rank all over. So every time you do a job, you send us the information, we'll post the pictures on your website. Well, Footbridge already offers that. It's free. This company wanted $750 a month. So what I did was, instead of every location, there's sometimes I change the location. I change it. Edmonds to high ticket areas. It's 30 miles up the road. Tomorrow I'm doing a house wash, just the front of the house, $1,500, probably
Nice.
3-hour job. Yeah, for sure. But, I've done a job down the road where I've been able to send my information to Footbridge with the address. So I rank right there. So, she's reaching out to me because, I'm posting the projects, so I don't know how many guys that are using Footbridge and they're thinking, oh, I don't understand why it's working. Well, you've got to do a little bit of work as well.
Right.
You've got to add the projects in there, add the addresses. And I've done it all over Edmond, all over Oklahoma City, Yukon, Midwest City, down to Norman. That's why I'm going to rank. Been in the business 1 year, and I've ranked higher than 150 other power washing companies. Now, the other thing
is keep going.
The other thing is the reviews. So, man, I ask for a review every time. So you're not going to get a review every time if you just ask. But if you do reciprocity, which means if I do something for you, you do something for me. Like, hey, if I'm just there doing the driveway, see a little bit of mold by the gutter, I say, hey, if I knock off that mold off your house, it's going to take me 2 minutes. Hey, will you give me a 5-star review? Absolutely. It didn't cost them anything, but they got something from it, So I had the most reviews of anybody in Oklahoma City. It's only 81 at this point, but here in the next 2 months, I'm hoping I'll be over 100 5-star reviews.
You'll definitely be over. That's amazing, dude. So you're just being like super consistent and doing some of those really simple, effective things and giving Google a lot of relevance to your search terms and your area, right? A lot of people think that, man, hey, I built a site or I had the site built. Google knows everything now. Well, that's not really how it works for the local side of Google. Local side, it's catching up, but national was kind of priority for a long time. Local is starting to take more priority, and their crawl rate is what they call it. How often they crawl these sites at the local level was a little slower than what would happen on the national scale. So
Right.
The fact that you're giving them, you're basically forcing signals to Google when you're doing these pages that you're putting out there. You're forcing them to say, hey, Edmonton power washing must be this guy, right? Because I forced it down their throat. And that's what you're doing. It's brilliant. And it's just part of those simple steps that, like you said, not a lot of people want to implement. I want to do a screen share here for a second, because I totally, before our call, I did a little research on Okie power washing, and wanted to take a look and see. Let's see if I can share my screen here. Pressure washing Oklahoma City. That's you, Gary. Number one.
Yep.
Oklahoma City, number one.
So Urban Cleaning Pros, he's been listening to me. He started with Footbridge probably 5 months ago, and he kills. Dude, he's an Edmond, man. I mean, his average ticket's it's well way past mine. I mean, the kid, and he's killing it up there. When he tells a customer 2,500 to wash their house, they're like, oh, okay. I mean, but you're talking about millions of dollars of homes. So, he's killing it up there, but he's done exactly what I've told him. If you was to click on his link and look at his pictures, he's got hundreds of pictures.
Urban Cleaning Pros got some nice positioning here. Very nice. Look at it. And usually it's not uncommon that we see two Footbridge guys duking it out. Like I see that. My brother dukes it out with another guy down in Daphne, Soft Wash Pros. He's been in business for like 10 years, been with Footbridge forever, way before I was with them. And Pierce dukes it out with him, similar to you. This is a really, really nice looking site, man. Got all
it's a Footbridge site
down here. Yeah, you can tell. I can always scroll down here at the bottom and tell if it's a Footbridge site. Let's see, our work. And this is the stuff that you were talking about. He's got 7 pages here built out with all of his projects. He's got his key terms. I'm not going to go into depth here. But here's another thing that I did. I put you on the grid, Gary. I know I sent this to you. But what I'm about to show you is I Googled right here for the search term, pressure washing. Can you see this on the grid? And that address doesn't mean anything. That's just basically what the center of this would be. So it doesn't mean anything. It's not your location or your address. But Okie power washing, and my search term is pressure washing. And this is where your Google My Business ranks in this area. So that's really incredible. Like, especially for a major city like that, man. And you've had their site for less than a year now. That's really, really cool. So what's next for you, dude? You're just going to keep dominating? Or are you going to try to get Mustang or Yukon, or you trying to spread out? What are you trying to do?
So there's 3 companies, I think, in Oklahoma doing hood vent cleaning.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to jump into that because I've had quite a few calls. I know the average ticket, there's so much upsell you can do in it. So the average hood vent cleaning is about $500, but you can upsell on the filters, upsell on all kinds of stuff. So
love it.
Thinking about getting into that. It's about a $4,000 initial investment. But I mean, if I'm getting calls left and right, I might as well try to jump into that maybe, and then try to train somebody, to do the night work and things like that,
A different animal for sure, but you could definitely train someone to do that.
And there's quite a bit of money in that, especially, like I said, there's 3 companies here in Oklahoma doing hood vent cleaning. We've reached out to a company out of Texas just to ask a few questions because, the local guys probably wouldn't give me any information. So, and he's like, dude, we actually can't even, we're getting calls down here, from Dallas to go up to Oklahoma City. So, thinking maybe, that might be a $25,000 a month additional revenue system. And then
for sure.
then the winter time, kind of thing where we're not doing any power washing, pressure washing, basically stops. And, we're doing more of the commercial stuff, but here and there in the winter time, but that might be more consistent, to bring in 20-25 grand a month in revenue.
I think that's absolutely doable. And it's like you said, it's through the winter. You don't have to worry about, because those restaurants stay open through the winter too, and they're getting greasy and nasty. And that's an excellent idea. Y'all get cold too. How cold does it get there?
It gets cold. It gets real cold. It's Oklahoma, man. And our weather's unpredictable. And we can wake up and be 70, and by noon it'll be an inch of snow on the ground, or rain, or a tornado, or an earthquake.
We don't have, Oklahoma. That sounds like Alabama, man. That's crazy. It's always raining at random times.
Okay.
So but as far as just keep moving forward and try to build my brand and my business, and hopefully soon. I mean, I'm at a point where I've got part-time people that help me that have been with me from day one that'll go and help me on certain jobs and things like that, like in the afternoon. But I'm to the point where I'm coming in with enough revenue to start hiring somebody, but I just got to push it a little bit more, and here's the thing, if they don't like my price, they can call the next guy. They can call the next guy. It's not that big of a deal because I know the guy below me is going to ask all the money. And I know the guy below that, Urban, he's just going to tell him a stupid price, but he's in Edmond. He's in Edmond where these people got money to spend. Here in Oklahoma City, I tell them, $300 on the house wash. They're like, they'll eventually call me or call somebody, they'll find somebody with one review or something. And that guy, he's willing to do it for 225 or something. I'm not, I got to take everything in consideration. A year ago, man, I just wanted to get out there. I was, doing 3 jobs a day and making $600, man, I'm doing 1 job a day and making $1,200. I mean, not interested in working more than 4 or 5 hours a day. And that's it, man. Other than some of these big commercial jobs that I've done here in the last month, I mean, I've averaged somewhere around 20 hours a week and made stupid money, and that's the thing about the power washing or the pressure washing business. I'm going to make $150, $200 an hour. You can do it. I mean, yeah, do I have an 8-gallon a minute hot water and the big guy, and that makes all the difference because I can go do a driveway in 10 minutes. You can get to that level eventually, but you got to learn the marketing side. That's where a lot of guys, they fail. They don't want to listen. They don't want to be coachable about putting in the projects, being in your Google My Business, posting pictures, getting the reviews. If you're not trying to be at the top, you'll never be at the top.
Amen to that, man. I resonate with you on that level. Is that when I first started, and a guy I'm still friends with, I didn't know him from Adam. All I saw was that he was #1 in Google, Hydro Pro out here in Nashville. Sean Gross. He ended up buying the power wash store here and then sold it. And I think he's doing something else now. But when I first got started, he was like the #1 guy, in the city. He was everywhere. He had one of the most beautiful rigs that I'd ever seen. He had like this extended flatbed that was like, I don't know, it felt like it was 16 foot long or something. I mean, it was built out with everything you can imagine. And I was like, this is the guy. This is who I have to aim for.
Right.
And so I just worked and worked and worked and worked. And, it just kept doing it, kept being consistent, stay in the process, and eventually, we outranked him, and now we outrank everybody, kind of like you. So it's just cool. It's cool to see, man. It's cool to see you implement. It's cool to see you winning. When did you find Lean and Mean? Because you're in the group too. When did you find Lean and Mean or my YouTube or whatever?
Yeah. So this was probably in March of last year. Yeah. I watched a whole month of videos of, YouTube videos. I was that new guy trying to figure it all out. And I didn't want to go on and ask questions because I didn't want to get berated by, the guys that have been doing it for a while, Sure. I didn't want to feel like the dummy. So, I mean, I'm telling you, from the time I woke up to like the time I went to sleep, just watching videos. And man, I probably, it's been a long time since I watched a YouTube video, but man, I probably spent 10 hours just watching your videos, kind of thing. Cause that's it, man. It's one truck, big profits. I mean, I knew that had to be me. There was no plan C or plan B or it was just plan A. I've got to go with this, go all in. And man, I'm blessed, dude. And I've taken the marketing that I did my previous job and I've used it for this. And it's always the little things. It's always the little things. Just if you do the little things, man, it'll make a big difference. And sometimes it's 15 minutes a day. Sometimes it's 2 minutes a day. If you just figure those little things out, dude, you won't have to work so hard. Eventually you won't have to work so hard. You won't have to worry about your phone not ringing. Man, I've been killing it. My phone kind of stopped ringing for the last couple of days. Was heading across town. Guy calls me, wants the building next to his restaurant cleaned, and basically sold it for $2,400. No bleach, no anything, just a hot water rinsing. That's it. his building, just because it's just got a little bit of dirt on it. No chemicals. It's going to be like maybe a 3 or 4 hour job, $2,400 cash.
Just knocked it. Cash, baby.
Yeah.
Talk to me. I love it, man. I love it, dude. That is, so what are the big gaps, right? It's like a knowledge gap with a lot of guys is the courage to close like you're closing, right? That's a courage thing, because it doesn't necessarily, I mean, there are skills that you can learn to sell, and you're a personable guy. So you're obviously quick on the phone, and you sound pro when you talk. Like, that's obviously, and how you present yourself, that's a big deal. You're very certain in how you talk. You're not like assertive in an off-putting way, but you are certain. You have a direction when you speak, right? And that's huge, right? You're gonna get the job done. There is no question when I hear Gary talk. That's going to happen. This guy, whoever I'm talking to on the phone right now, he knows what he's doing when it comes to pressure washing. That's what I feel, right? A lot of guys can't muster that courage or that certainty to close a $2,400 job, maybe because of lack of self-esteem, or they didn't make $2,400 in a week or a month. They can't imagine making $2,400 in 5 hours or something like that, right? Nobody in their family ever made that type of money. Look, that's where I grew up, dude. Like South Alabama, dude, that type of money didn't flow around there. So it was a big courage hurdle to get over, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is the marketing, right? The willingness to buckle in and do that, which you've done, you've implemented. And the third thing is to just stay consistent and continually upgrade, right? That's it. And you've done all three things. I think those are the gaps for anybody watching this right now, who's going to be watching this.
And I've spent zero this year in Google Ads, where last year I was spending $1,000, $1,200 a month in Google Ads, and my revenue's 5, 6, 8 times more than what it was a year ago. So, just by doing these little bitty things, working in the Google My Business, posting pics, utilizing the Footbridge website, just doing all the little things. I mean, I'm putting money in my pocket. My business isn't costing me that much money. My biggest expense right now is fuel. I mean, that's my biggest expense.
My gosh, man, you're killing it, dude. So what would be, so you don't have to tell me the gross number this year, but what would be, you're doing like 5 to 8x. What was the gross number then when you first got started in the business? Because you're definitely doing well over 6 figures now.
So last year, I think I did somewhere around like 50 grand, something like that. And I'm probably going to hit around 200 this year.
Nice. See, that's amazing, man. You're just implementing the steps and just staying consistent.
And I'm not bragging. I'm very humble about that. But this last month I did well over 30K.
Dude, and are you doing all the cleaning, or you have somebody? Me and a part-time guy. Dude, all right. So let me. A lot of guys ask, what's the capacity for one truck? And I feel like I've maximized it because I pushed up against that wall a few times.
I had a huge commercial building that I washed this month, learned a lot, and I did some waterproofing on it. So those are the jobs that I want to try to go out. I may have to go out of state to get, but those are the jobs that are going to pay you. Now, I was subcontracted from a general contractor, and I still got paid quite a bit, but this guy probably sold the job for $100,000.
Right.
Right. And I got a portion of that, not much, but now I know, the process and the steps to be able to clean the building and to waterproof it. I'll take that education all day, even if I lost money on the deal. I'll take that education all day long, because would it be worth for me to go to another state or, to do one of these jobs that, this job took me 40 man hours to do from start to finish, from washing to waterproofing. If I could figure that out, if I could get one of those jobs, if it's not here, but in another state, but make 100 grand, dude, I'd only need 2 of those jobs a month.
Isn't it amazing, the opportunity, man, when you just implement? It's just so amazing what you can do in this business when you buckle in, man.
surprises me all the time, you know.
Well, kudos to you, man. Kudos to you for going to work. You seem like a hardworking cat. I've already, we've talked back and forth a little bit on Facebook and stuff. And I was like, I got to connect with Gary because, I gridded you out because you've been talking about Footbridge a little bit. And I was like, what's happening out in Oklahoma City, man? So I
Right.
put you on the grid. I was like, I got to figure this out. But I'll send you that picture as well. And thanks for getting on the call with me tonight. I know you want to go be with your family and do your thing, but I appreciate you getting on the call with me, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, any of these new guys, they need to listen to this video and listen to the little things, because they'll fail within a year. They'll be done. They're not, if they're questioning why their phone is not ringing, why they don't have work, or at least a few jobs a week could do, that can make the difference. That can make all the difference in the world. I've already proved it. My buddy Dom, he owns Urban Cleaning Pros or whatnot. He's number 3 within 6 months. So I got to number 1 real fast. He's probably going to outperform me because he's doing a way better job than I am, but you've got to utilize Footbridge. And if you don't know, call one of the girls there or somebody there and ask them to go over all the programs that they offer, So it's nice meeting you, Aaron.
Dude, it's good meeting you. Thank you so much, man.
You kill it in Nashville. I'm going to come to Nashville soon.
Well, let me know when you're here.
Hey, Nashville was one of my favorite places to live. I lived there for like 6 months, and I knew if I didn't get out of there, I was going to have DUIs and all kinds of bad stuff happening.
I have a few kids out here, bro. Gotta watch it around these parts.
Right.
Well, Gary, I appreciate you getting on the call with me, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother.
Have a good day, man.
You too.
If you try to do it on a 5/8, it just can't flow what the pump's trying to flow, and it'll shut it off, shut it off, shut it off. It'll actually burn that pump up.
I'm going to show you a DIY version, but very, very effective.
Some feedback on Series Starter.
It was great. Learned Cody really was able to dive in deep on everything that you can see on the YouTube channel and answer those questions that you always have that you can't ask them when you're watching those videos. And then Aaron's portion, was.
What'd you think, dude?
Man, it was great. Great 2 days of classes, and I learned a lot. I'm ready to get started.
Well, did you learn anything?
A lot, more than I even could have imagined, really.